again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So today I am starting my first ranunculus of the season, and I am really excited to do this because ranunculus is something that I've actually never grown before. So one of my goals for this year for my cut flower garden is to have earlier blooms. Last year I actually did not do any farmers markets until around the 4th of July. So this year I really want to get in on those June markets because in our area, which is Northwest Iowa, the June markets are sometimes some of the busiest ones because everyone is so excited that they finally started and it's the beginning of summer. So I really want to take advantages of those earlier markets, and I'm hoping that ranunculus is one of the flowers that lets me do that. In addition to ranunculus, I'm also doing tulips this year, which I did not do last year. And I'm hoping to plant some snapdragons out earlier than normal to get ahead of the blooming on those too. But anyway, today I am going to start my first batch of ranunculus. Now, this is probably about a third of what I have total, but I want to do a couple different plantings to spread them out and get blooms for a little bit longer of a time. So I have a few different kinds that I'm going to be starting today, and I'll throw some pictures up on the screen. And honestly, one of these kinds, I can't even remember what it looks like. So I have 2 bags of 25, so I have 50 total of the Aviv mix. Aviv, is that how you say that? I'm not even quite sure. So I have 50 of those I'm starting. Now I do have 50 more of these that will be in my later planting. I have 20 white, and then I have 20 of a clone mix. And so total today, I'm just starting 90 corms. Now I probably have about 250 corms still put away that I'm gonna be starting again in a couple weeks, but I wanna get a head start, and this is what I'm starting today. So the first thing I need to do besides labeling my tags is get these ready to pre-soak. So to do that, I'm going to use these organza bags. These are left over from last year. I had been putting them over the top of my light colored dahlias to keep the bugs off. So I thought this was going to be a perfect thing to use for the ranunculus corms that come in these paper bags to pre-soak them. So before I get these taken out of the bags, I'm going to label my tags. Okay, these are labeled and done. Now, these 2 bags are plastic and have a lot of holes in them. If you can see that, I think I'm just gonna leave these right in here and pre-soak these in the bag. I'm hoping that works. I should be able to tell immediately if it does not. And then the rest of these, I'm gonna get put in these organza bags so they're all ready to go. Now, if you're not familiar with what a ranunculus corm looks like, they actually look like a little octopus. And when these are pre-soaked, they're probably going to at least double in size. So I'm just gonna put my tag right in the bag with them. That way I know exactly what they are. Then let me get the clone mix put in the bag. These corms are a lot bigger than the other ones. Like you can see, look at that one. That is quite a bit bigger. And I think since I'm at it and I have a third bag, I'm gonna go ahead and just put these in another bag too. Then I know they get that proper water circulation. Okay, so just in these 3 little bags, I have 90 corms. So right here is 90 ranunculus plants. It's almost kind of astonishing like how small these are and how many plants and blooms you end up getting from them. So then as far as the pre-soaking of these goes, you want to soak them for 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours from what I have read is about the sweet spot, that it hydrates them enough, but not too much where they're going to get too hydrated and rot away, if that makes sense. So my plan is to go for 4 hours, and I'm gonna be doing this in my utility sink, and I'll show you guys that when I get these put in there. But basically you want some airflow also when you're soaking these. So I'm gonna be putting these in a 5-gallon bucket, and then I'm just gonna leave a small stream of water running at all times in that 5-gallon bucket in my utility sink so that that's gonna give some airflow through the water. Some people like to use those little bubblers that go in fish tanks. I don't have anything like that. So this is pretty much going to do the same thing. So that's the plan. So let's go get these put in the water. Okay, so I'm in my furnace room and I am filling up my 5-gallon bucket with water right now. Now, the temperature of this water is like lukewarm. I don't want it cold and I don't want it hot. And so I'm really making sure it's at a lukewarm temperature. Okay, so that's almost full. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. And then here are my 3 bags of corms. Whoops. All right, so my water's shut off. I'm gonna go ahead and add these corms right in. Here goes the 3rd one. Okay, those are all 3 in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water back on. And I want it to be that lukewarm temperature again. Okay, so that seems pretty good. So you can see I have a light stream of water. It's starting to spill over the edge. That's just gonna circulate that air through it while these sit in here for 4 hours. Now, my drain is uncovered, so my sink will never overflow. You can see there's the stream. It's just super light. So right now it's 11 o'clock. I will come back and check on these at 3 o'clock and we'll see how much they have grown. All right, so it's been 4 hours. I'm gonna turn the water off and take these out of here and see what they look like. But I can already tell they're much bigger. Okay, so I have gotten my corms out of the water and I can already tell they are so much bigger than when they started. I'm gonna open up these white ones first. And I'll put a couple pictures on the screen of close-ups. But they have pretty much doubled in size. They looked really dry before, and now all of the little legs on the little octopus looking thing are super plump and fully hydrated. So I think that these are gonna grow really well. So what I have here is one of the standard size trays that goes under your 72 cell tray. I have it filled with pre-moistened potting mix. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply just put these face down or legs down right into the soil. And this is what is going to get them pre-sprouting. So I'm gonna put a little bit of space in between them. I'm gonna do all the white together on the end and then I'll put my marker in and then I'll do the other 2 kinds. And I'm hoping that I can fit all of these right in this tray. Now, when I plant them outside, of course, they're gonna have to have a lot more space in between them. Ranunculus typically are planted 9 inches apart, but when you're pre-sprouting them in the tray, you can put them a lot closer together. I don't want them touching because I want the roots to have room to branch out, of course, but they can be quite a bit closer together. Okay, then I'm gonna put, well, I'm gonna cover these with soil, so then I think that I will put the tag right on top of the soil. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this tray filled, and then I'll show you the rest of it. Okay, so all of my ranunculus are in the tray. They all fit really well. I hope they're not too close. We're gonna try this and see how it works. The next round that I start, if I think I need to space them out, I can totally do that, but I'm gonna try this for right now. Now I'm just gonna cover them with a little bit more of the pre-moistened potting mix. I'm gonna keep my markers in there under the soil so I can see the line between the different kinds. So these should start forming some pretty good roots in about 10 days or so. I will check them again in 10 days, and if I think they need to go a little bit longer, I will just leave them. One thing that you do want to watch with these ranunculus, from what I have read, is you don't want to have them too moist because they can rot, but you also don't want to let them dry out because then the corms are going to re-dry out and you're not going to get that root growth. So I'm going to make sure to watch these and make sure that they're not completely drying out over the next 10 to 14 days. All right, so these are going to go back into my furnace room up on a shelf, and that is where these are going to live for the next 10 days while they pre-sprout in this cool soil. It usually stays about 55 to 60 degrees in there, which from what I've read is about the perfect temperature for pre-sprouting ranunculus. So I think that they're going to do just fine. Now in 10 days, I will check these. If I think they need a little bit longer, I'll leave them for a few more days. But typically in about 10 days to 2 weeks is when you want to be seeing some really good roots on them. Now, after that, I can keep them growing in the tray for a little bit, or I can go ahead and plant them outside under some frost cloth. I cannot leave them completely exposed because, of course, it is still too early in the season. But if I put them under like a caterpillar tunnel under some frost cloth, they should be just fine. Now, when I actually do that, I will make sure to post another video because I'm thinking I'm going to be planting this first round in some containers and maybe growing them in my greenhouse. But I haven't 100% figured that out yet. So when I'm ready to plant these out, I will definitely do another video on that. So stay tuned to see how all of that goes. And crossing my fingers, if everything goes well, I'm going to have ranunculus in June. So anyway, I'm going to go get these put up on the shelf, and we'll see you in the next video.